We got to air it out. Let's air it out. So we got to air it out. Let's air it out. So
how you say that? Air it out. Air it out.
Air it out.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Air It Out podcast. I am your humble host, Avery Collins. And here's the thing. You're probably wondering, wait, it's Saturday. It ain't Thursday. What's going on? Well, some things happen, okay? We had some issues, some technical difficulties, some life happenings going on with some folks. So we decided to bump it to Saturday. You are in the building with us today on a Saturday, and y'all going to just have to accept it, okay? Anyway, I'm here with a panel of experts when it comes to the game of football, and I would like to introduce them to you. Coach, say what's up to the people. Coach Braxton in the building.
What's up, everybody? Glad to be back after a week hiatus. But Tyreek Hill trade, man. A lot of things happened from it. Bobby Wagner signed up somewhere other than us. Do you think it's over and then it just keeps coming? Like this all season is basically, if you want to do something, just take your shot. Shoot your shot. You going to score at some point. Definitely this off season.
I mean, it's definitely been a very, very interesting off season. A lot of money being thrown around. A lot of things been going on. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Now I want to introduce the one and only Juan. What's up from Wisconsin? Up in the building. How's the weather? You don't have the blanket on today. You guys good out there?
Oh, I just ate like a whole bag of hot popcorn to keep me going. So that's what's going on. But dude, it is April 2nd, and we have a snowstorm happening in Milwaukee. This is not normal. This is not. No, I can't believe it. But I miss New Jersey weather, and that's saying something.
All right. That is saying something. I miss New Jersey weather. That's a mouthful right there.
Also, don't watch Morbius.
I gotta see it, you know. All right, now also in the building, my brother from another. Happy birthday to him. Y'all say happy birthday to my main man, Deontay Daniels. How you feeling about Bobby Wagner? I mean, he's a Ram. Did you want him? You're the other resident Ravens fan here. Did you want Bobby on your team? And I know you're a huge Bobby fan. Do you feel the same way that Coach does? I mean, I said it. I said if you want to win, the Rams might be the way to go, and I think you might have listened.
Well, first off, all right. Honestly, Coach, you might hate me for this, but when it came to Bobby Wagner, I cared about more what was right for the game than what was right for the Ravens, and I wanted him to be a Packer. So him being a Ram, I'm not mad about it. You put him behind Aaron Donald, cool. I'm happy to see it. It's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, we could have used them too.
Listen, I know we could have used him, help out Patrick Queen. That was my thing. But my real question is, why a Packer?
I want to see Aaron win. And their defense's number one problem is they can't stop the run. I want to see Aaron win so people get off his jock. Every time they lose, they think it's Aaron's fault. They blame Aaron
because it is sometimes Aaron's fault, though. But you're
show me on film it's Aaron's fault. We'll talk about that later.
I'll show you how many open wide receivers he missed, always targeting Devontae against
maybe one, but we'll talk about it. Show me on film.
I will get Leroy Butler down here and have him outline every single.
I want Juan to show me on film.
I'll get Leroy, Hall of Fame safety Leroy Butler.
I want Juan, the one with the opinion, to show me on film.
Now I gotta go watch film.
Don't say things if you can't back it up with film.
I like it. I'm loving it already.
Spicy on a Saturday, man.
Spicy on a Saturday already. I'm loving it. You know what? I know this is the Air It Out podcast, but I just want to go around the horn real quick. You know, and just get your thoughts, because Juan brought up something, and he's dropping it in the chat, and like I feel like we need to talk about this, and it's obviously, you know, it's a completely different sport. But is somebody is making the claim, Juan included, that Giannis Antetokounmpo is now the best player in the NBA? Do we agree with this? I'll start with you, Deontay. What are your thoughts? Is Giannis the one? Is he the best in the NBA right now?
I don't watch basketball.
Okay, there you go, Coach.
Basketball bores me, bro.
I'll make mine short and sweet. If LeBron and KD is still playing, then no.
Okay, I like it. Juan, what is your defense? What is your stance on Giannis being the number one player in the league right now?
Dominant as hell. Forces his way into the paint when no one else can stop him. Has gone against KD, went up against both Joel Embiid and KD on back-to-back nights and beat them at last-second plays. Only greatness can do that. But my bias is because I'm a Bucks fan. I can't necessarily speak to that. I will say, though, I just got into basketball last year, and I feel like I'm witnessing a GOAT in the making.
Okay.
We've been watching the GOAT since we were children.
Understood.
Like, let's be honest.
Understood, and I respect that in the fact that you're saying that there is a bias there. I respect that. Yes, absolutely. For me, it's tough. Like, I want to say LeBron, but I mean, we're starting to see the decline. We're starting to see the decline of. I still think he's a top 3 player in this league without question. He can get to the rim when he feels like it, and that's the thing. When he feels like it, he's a knockdown shooter at this point in his career. He's not like a lights out sharpshooter, but he can knock down shots. Defensively, again, he can guard 1 through 5. He doesn't do it all the time because obviously age. But for me, I'm gonna say I think Kevin Durant is the best player in the NBA right now. I don't think there's anybody better. Like there's not too much in his game outside of post game that he can't do. I mean, he can shoot the 3, he can cross you up, he can get to the rim, he can dunk on you, he can play defense, he can slide on the wing, he can block shots, he can get rebounds, he can dish the ball. He's extremely, extremely efficient. And this is for somebody who plays majority on the wing to be shooting, you know, close to 50%, if not above 50%. That's saying something. And he's carrying a team, right? Like James Harden wasn't doing much. Kyrie is playing every other game and as such. But the Nets they're a legit threat. I mean, outside of it, they're another KD last second shot away from beating the Bucks again. You know, so like, I mean, the guy, I think he's got number one. Coach, your final thoughts.
Until Giannis has an outside game, he's not going to be the best player.
I mean, he did knock down the 3-point that sent it to overtime.
Again, if he cannot get a true
Anybody,
outside game,
I was going to say,
we know everybody can hit one every once in a while, but
got to be consistent.
I need him to be able to do consistent. If he can get at least 35 from 3, I'm not even asking the mid range. I just said from 3. He needs at least 35.
Nah, 30. See, because you got to understand, 35 is league average. If he can give me 33, I would say if he can just give me a 13 to 15 consistent, like if he can give me a 13 to 15 footer consistently, he's going to. That right there is just going to change the absolute. Like he's going to be unguardable at that point. Because you mean to tell me he's going to?
He is unguardable.
Like no, I don't think.
Again, you let him shoot. You'll live with that.
Exactly. I don't think he's unguardable. The Heat have proven how to guard Giannis. It's just
2 years ago.
Exactly.
It still stands true. You don't let him in the paint.
You
will live and die by that way. If he just is on fire, what can you do? But if not,
just letting the haters just ruin it. Just ruin the hype.
No, there's no hate. There's no hate.
Just rain down on me.
There's no hate. There's no hate. No hate.
Showering it in it right now.
No hate.
Because they keep saying that this Bucks championship was not legitimate, which is sad because that means
I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm just saying that's what this fan base has been hearing across the NBA, which is
Well, I mean, yeah, that's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. They played the games and they won the games. As simple as that. But I will say, like, I can be a fan and a critic at the same time. I'm objective in saying, like, yo, you're nice, dude. You're legit top 3 without question. But what separates
not number 1 yet?
Exactly. What separates these other guys is the ability to change a game and say, listen, okay, I have a counter to your counter. And that comes with a jumper. Like, that's what made Kobe so dangerous. It's like, oh, you want to clog the paint? Bet I'm gonna hit you with this turnaround. Oh, you want to double team me? Okay, cool. I'm gonna just work in the post and make the right play. Like those
top 3, and he is 3.
He might be 2. I don't know.
Again, he's a minimum.
Based on your parameters, I'll take him at 3. All
right. Well, this is not the sharpshooter podcast. This is the Air It Out podcast. So we're gonna talk about some football. So we're gonna get to our first topic, and it's about football, but it's not about the physicality or the game itself, in a sense. But we're talking about Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians has retired from coaching. Now, this is after Tom Brady has said, hey, I'm coming back to play under you again for another year. Bruce Arians is like, appreciate that, bro. I'm out, sort of, because I'm just moving up. He's moving up into the front office of the Buccaneers organization. And I want to know your thoughts on this. I mean, I have my own personal opinions on this, but I want to hear from you guys. We're going to start with the one and only. So, Juan, what are your thoughts on Bruce Arians moving on up into the front office and saying, I think I'm done with the coaching situation?
Bruce Arians is by far one of the greatest offensive minds I've had the pleasure of watching over the years. He's a quarterback guru who unlocked the potential for a lot of great quarterbacks. Ben Roethlisberger, Andrew Luck, Brock Carson, Palmer's career back to life in Arizona, and then pulled off a dynamic duo relationship with Tom Brady in his 2 years coaching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Brady at the helm. Moving to the front office role, he'll be much more in charge of the draft process, and he's been stellar at the draft process the last 2 years, building this team up in a way that has elevated from like bottom feeder in 2019 to Super Bowl contender nearly every year, the next 2. And also Bruce Arians, I feel like part of the reason that he is moving to the front office role, even though he said is not the reason, he's had some health scares over the years. He had heart issues that forced him out of the Arizona job. You saw that he had a torn ligament in his ankle near the end of the last year. So that's part of the reason, like, getting out of coaching. Like, coaching is a stressful endeavor. All right. It's just as physically demanding as it is mentally demanding, especially for a head coach of an NFL team. I will say, though, with all these rumors going around about how that Bruce Arians is stepping up because he can't work with Tom Brady anymore because they're always clashing, I don't think that it's a broken relationship between those two. It's just two competitors fighting to prove who's right. No, I'm agreeing with that meme right there, man. Like, this whole rumor, like, oh, Brady, Arians, like, power struggle. I don't think it's real. All right. I think, like, they just have two different philosophies, and it's time. And Bruce just doesn't want to be at the helm of it anymore. Hence why he's moving up. And not to mention, as soon as Brady came back, Arians told Brady, listen, I'm not going to be the coach anymore. I'm moving up to the front office. That was never a stipulation or anything. And a major shout out to Todd Bowles getting the head coaching job there, man. He is a coach that deserves a head coaching job out there. I, as a Jets fan, hated that his career sputtered in the way. I blame more on the fact that it was just a bad GM in Mike McCagnon when it was up there. His coaching was excellent. He's a player's coach. His defense is aggressive as hell. And Tom Brady and Byron Leftwich at the helm of this offense, ooh, Bucs are coming back and looking for vengeance.
I like it. And I love the Todd Bowles shout out, because absolutely. Deontay, what are your thoughts? Bruce Arians moving up into the front office. Juan tends to think that part of it is health concerns. Do you agree with that? Do you think that Todd Bowles is the right man for the job, or do you think they should have given it to Byron Leftwich?
No. So from what I've heard, I've only paid attention to this a little bit because I don't really feel like it's a story. So I paid attention to it a little bit. The only source I've heard talk about it was the Pat McAfee show. And from what I've heard from them and Ian Rappaport, because he goes on there a lot, is that BA was planning on retiring after this season anyway. So what I really like to think, based on who BA is and how he's been when it comes to diversity and things like that, having women on his coaching staff and things like that, I really like to think that he took this consultant role just for the sole purpose of giving Todd Bowles an opportunity to show he deserves to be a head coach. So he moved out the way so that Todd could move up. And that's what I want to believe, so that it can be just a really happy thing in my mind. I don't want it to be like it had anything to do with Tom, because I don't think it did. I don't think Tom didn't like him. I don't think he didn't like Tom. Maybe they didn't mesh well as people or coach. Who cares? I think BA sees how the coaching carousel goes in the NFL and how the black coaches are often overlooked. So I think he took it upon himself, and ownership or whoever let him do this agreed with him that he could move on and let Todd get his opportunity, because he deserves an opportunity. And that leads me to think, like, I hope one day Andy Reid does the same for Eric Bieniemy. I hope this is a trend that continues, because I really feel like the only way black coaches are going to get a fair shot is if they're promoted into it and not hired into it. Like, not interviewed, not hired. They have to be promoted. Like, all right, I'm going to step down so that they have to take him. And he gets a shot to show everybody that he deserves it so that he can keep it. Which is why it was like a big deal when Mike Tomlin hired Brian Flores, because he was going to be the only one to do it. And now Lovie Smith has a position with the Texans where he could then do that if he wanted to step down and give somebody else an opportunity. But he has his opportunity. He's going to keep that. But I'm just saying, I really hope this was one of another one of BA's diversity moves to be progressive in the NFL. And if it is, I love it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Love that. Love that perspective. Very, very interesting and unique perspective there. I love it. Coach, what are your thoughts? What is your response to that? What is your response to BA moving up into the front office?
So I'll make my point very short and sweet, honestly. So BA, I felt like definitely wanted to retire already. Reports are out there. You already can see he's already getting up there in age. As Juan said, he's retired already once before, kind of had to step away. So this is not too much of a surprise. But for me, I think it was honestly more so the reason why it happened now is because I think he was really trying to figure out would it be Brian Leftwich or Todd Bowles getting the head coaching position. I think that's what took the most time. Not anything to do with Tom Brady, not anything to do with the front office, because I think the front office honestly loved both of those guys, as they made sure that BA was able to retain both of those guys and hope that they would retain both of those guys these last few years. Byron Leftwich has been a very, very sneaky and very good head coaching candidate, honestly. And I'm very happy that him and Todd Bowles now are basically 1 and 2 in that organization. One is the head coach and also the coordinator, basically, and another is the offensive guy, the quarterback's coach, that the man with the plan. And I love the way that they have that, because you don't see that often, if at all, in the NFL. So I'm kind of with Deontay on this. I think it was more about the coaches itself than anything else.
I like it. Juan, you look like you wanted to jump in and kind of give some thoughts on that.
Well, with this move, like we know that like the NFL's come under scrutiny a lot with its diversity hiring and giving coaches giving minority coaches a fair shake at a job.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that with like the new changes that they're adding to the Rooney Rule that they added like last week, where now they're also going to be interviewing female candidates as well, would we be far off to say like maybe 10 or 15 years down the line we could see a first female head coach?
A good question. I'll leave it open to you guys to answer first. I'll start with you, Coach, first.
10, 15 years? I'm not sure. I think it might be a little bit longer. Yes, we do have some female coaches in the league now, which is very good to see.
Two on that Buccaneer staff.
Yeah, but let's be honest. If it wasn't for the fact of Popovich, realistically, Becky Hammond should have had a head coaching job in the NBA. And the NBA is, in my opinion at least, far more progressive than the NFL has been. So if the NBA can't get a head coach that's a female yet, I don't see it coming yet for the NFL. I think we're still a bit of ways away. I would love to see it happen, but 10, 15 years, it still seems kind of close. I'm thinking maybe 20 at least.
Okay. Deontay, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I do think eventually it will happen. But like Coach said, I think it's a long, long way away because I feel like there's just so many steps that women are going to have to take for the NFL to look at them and be like, yeah, we can do that. Like the NFL is still celebrating women being referees. We are a long way away from a woman being a head coach.
Yeah.
I think they would allow a woman to be a general manager before they allow her to be a head coach. And I think the NFL, I don't want to say is misogynistic, but I just don't think like the heads of the NFL will look at the NFL and be like, a room full of men is not going to listen to this woman. And it's not that they're right for saying that. It's just, that's just perception. They look at the NFL as a man's place for men. And it's just like, it's going to take a long time for a woman to work her way up through the ranks, for somebody to be like, that's the woman that deserves it. That's the one that we'll listen to. Like,
yeah,
I think a woman would become commissioner before that happens. Like, just
I can see that.
Like, real quick. Like, just remember, there was an uproar because a woman wanted to play kicker. Like, people do not want women in the NFL. Like, they have their place. Like, women know the game of football. They know this game. They can teach this game. There's few that can play this game because you gotta be a certain size. Like, let's be real, it's a big person's game. But to make a woman the face of your franchise, like your head coach, people still clown young head coaches. Like we're still at a place where young men, they don't let young men be it. Like you got to be a certain age. So it's like
people were looking at it weird when McVay got a head coaching job.
Exactly.
He was like 30, 32, 33 when he got the job.
And that's the thing that for me, it's like it should be, right? It should be based on your coaching acumen and your ability to lead, right?
Right.
Can you lead men? Can you lead an organization? Can you coach the game of football? Can you teach the ins and outs, the intricacies? Can you do all of those different things? Can you galvanize people? Can you get the troops on board with a vision? Can you do all of those different things? Like that's what it should be based on. The reality is, it's not just based on that. It's also based on, can you be in? Because here's the thing: can you be in the locker room and command it? And that's the question: can a woman command an all male locker room of men who are, again, and let's even take it a little bit step further and get a little messy. They shower in there. These married men, they might be, and some might be single. And if this head coach who's a woman ain't married, there's things. I mean, all different types of things could be at play in this situation, right? And so it's just like, what do you do with that dynamic as well? And I'm not saying that you should dismiss the idea because of that. I'm saying that these are real conversations that need to be had and that are going to be had prior to us ever seeing this actually happen. But I'm like Deontay, I think we're a little bit I think we're a long ways away from that happening if it ever does. I personally would not be opposed to it, just because there are certain things, and this is the reality is we think different. So there's certain things that women see that men won't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would love to see what dynamic a woman would bring to the game of football from a head coaching standpoint, not just the coaching on staff standpoint, a head coaching standpoint. Juan.
I think the best place that we might actually see it happen, and might be further down the line, might be the XFL if it stands long enough to where it is. Because they're already trying a lot of things with the XFL. It's not out of the realm of possibility that women will integrate more into the realm of head coaching positions through that league.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the difference is because what people will try to compare it to is the NBA. The NBA is a little bit different. It's a less physical game, number one. Two, the rosters aren't as big. Three, the perception around again, like Deontay said, it's a very misogynistic perception about football. It's like a patriarchy when it comes. It's like this is a man's game. It's a man's game for men to be men. Like it's brolic, it's brutal, it's brash, it's all of those different things. That's why, and again, that's why you can see men. And I'm gonna touch a little bit. I'm gonna get a little touchy. I'm gonna touch a button here. That's why you can see men put their hands on women and still get a job in the NFL. That's the reason, because it's like, yeah, that's the type of guy we want on our team. Somebody who's not afraid of the consequences, who's just going to be aggressive, brutal, harsh, and not, you know what I'm saying? So, and it's like, that's the reality of the perception of the NFL. And so I'm with Deontay there. I think it's going to be a longer time than like 15, 20 years before we see that happen. But at the same time, who knows?
How about this? How about we get at least 10 black head coaches or black minorities, period. I don't care what race, but minorities. 10 of them as head coaches.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys this.
Quarterbacks, I guess.
Yeah, let me
got black quarterbacks.
Exactly. Let me ask you this, and then we'll move on to the next subject. Do we see a female head coach first, or a black owner? I'll start with you.
I go black owner.
Juan, Deontay.
Owner, black owner.
Coach.
Female head coach.
Okay, I'm going to agree with Juan and Deontay. I think, and again, this is why. Again, the NFL. I think they would prefer it more be a men's league and fraternity before, and they quote unquote bite the bullet of having a black owner before they will allow a woman to be a head coach. My personal opinion.
They gave women rights to vote before they stopped segregation. So when it comes to the way that they are still thinking and how some of these owners are, unfortunately, let's be honest, as McNair said, you got the inmates running the place, and now you want one to be an owner on the same level as them? Nah, I don't see that happening before they decide, you know what, let's give this woman a shot.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's how it is.
I mean, money talks. And the thing about it is, obviously, my personal opinion, there's got to be a lot of, as you know, Juan kind of alluded to, the ruling rule. There's a lot more rule changes, I believe, that would have to take place for either one of those to happen. And that's the sad reality. But speaking of rules, new overtime rules for the playoffs, right? For those who don't know, it's for the playoffs, not the regular season, but new overtime rules for the playoffs. Does anybody have it queued up? Because I can pull it up real quick, but does anybody have it queued up?
So the main change with the new overtime rule is that now each team will have at least one possession to either score or not score. The only time that a team does not get possession is if when that team gets the ball, they either have a safety or a defensive touchdown from the other team. Other than that, the other team gets at least one shot now. At least one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I need to know your thoughts. I mean, we talked about this. We talked about this a little bit on the podcast. Juan looks eager, so I'm gonna let Juan jump in here.
I actually want to kind of prompt both the Ravens fans in this chat here to talk about it more, because I know John Harbaugh was especially against this rule. So Deontay, please, you go first, then Darren, then I'll come back to me.
Okay, so 3 minutes, no time to score.
See, this is why I'm marrying this one, because she is intelligent enough to say this here.
I don't disagree with this. The issue is in the playoffs, you have to have a winner. So if after that 15 minutes it's still tied, then what? Do you play another overtime period?
That's the only problem. Like football is too brutal of a game
just to keep
to
going
be like
and going.
we can just keep on running this.
Yeah, like
at some point,
But I think if there's going to be a circumstance of that, I think after those 15 minutes, if we have no winner, you got to go college rules. Then each team gets one chance from the 25. You either score or you don't.
But
that's also a really long football game.
Exactly, that's a long.
That's just a long game.
We're talking about the playoffs, gentlemen.
Yeah,
in the playoffs. I would accept this only in the playoffs.
You understand? Listen, playoff games,
you gotta go.
Playoff games are typically longer.
Here's the thing. All right. So this leads me into my answer. Okay, now Juan, when this first came about, right? I'm one of the people who I don't like rule changes. So when they were like, everybody's gonna get a chance to get the ball, I was like, yeah, nah. Like first person to score, this thing wrecked. Like this thing wrecked. But then like there's those guys on the other side of the argument who's, well, not the other side. They're on the same side, but their argument is nah, if you want to win, your defense got to make a stop. Your defense got to make a stop. And if they don't, you lose like that. But now thinking about it more, I think I do like the idea of both teams getting the ball. The reason being is now it turns it into an entire team thing. Because like now if we do come out and score, our defense has to make a stop so we can win, which is just the NFL's version of the college rule. You get the whole field instead of just 25 or whatever yards it is in college. It's 25, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get one chance. The NFL, to me, this is just the man's version of the college rule, and I like it. Because I was one of those people who was like, if they really want to figure it out, they just go to the college rule. But now I feel like this is the perfect medium between the college rule and just having a whole nother quarter. Because if you think about it, if both teams keep on scoring, you keep on playing. It's not until somebody scores and somebody else don't that the game is over. And I feel like that's what it is. It's just a sudden death period. Like, all right, we scored. Now, can you score? Nah, we won. Or we kicked 3. Y'all got 6. Y'all won. Like, I like it. It's the perfect medium between college and playing a whole other quarter.
Yeah,
for me.
Now, and I want to give a huge shout out to my dad, because this is the rule that my dad has been talking about for years. For years, he was saying, like, if you're going to change it, do it like college. The difference is don't make them start at the 25. Kick the ball off, like run it like a quarter, and give both teams a chance to score, but do it like it's an actual quarter. So shout out to him. He's been screaming that for years now. Coach, Juan wants to hear from you as well.
I'm calling this a Josh Allen rule from here on out. It is what it is. Like Deontay, you've almost said everything I need to say with this one, but it is what it is. It's a Josh Allen rule. There's no way that anyone can see it almost otherwise, because
technically,
let's think about it.
It's the Bills-Chiefs rule because it was those two teams back-to-back years. Well,
okay,
well, whatever.
I'll take that.
Allen Mahomes rule. How about that?
Right, it's the Allen Mahomes rule. It happened to Patrick.
I'll take the Mahomes and Allen rule, whatever.
It's the quarterback rule. It's the quarterback rule.
The Josh Allen
quarterback rule. I like that one.
It's the Mahalan rule. There you go.
No.
Mahalan. It's the Mahalan rule.
This isn't freaking Bradgelino where you can just put them together. No.
Listen, I love the names. I'm loving it, but it's the Josh Allen rule because he had to sit there and watch his team knowingly. He said, you know what, there's no chance. There's no chance. And then next week, what happens? We see what a good defense does. And the Bills, we thought had a good defense. They didn't show up. Josh Allen showed up all day, but he never got a chance to show up when they needed. So I really think it's his rule that needed to be changed, and that's why I'm saying it is. But yes, definitely a good thing. Definitely a great action of middle ground for college and the NFL. Just it's Josh Allen rule, man.
Now, I want to tie my point to this. Let me be first clear. I like this rule, but I'm going to play devil's advocate in this situation simply because there needs to be an opposing side here. What some people might see a little bit detrimental about this rule is the two things that players and coaches have been complaining about with this league for the longest time. Games are going to be extended longer, and the risk of player safety just gets a lot higher. A lot of fatigue going into the overtime rules, constant hitting, running out of steam. There is more room for injury to happen. And funny enough, the team that brought that point up was the Ravens. With John Harbaugh specifically bringing those points up, ironic, given that he doesn't adhere to player safety rules during OTAs when he has guys hitting each other. Fact of the matter, though, is this could we see more injuries pile up during the postseason and affect it down the line? Could we see actual games and years be affected by this rule because players were injured in these overtime rules? Maybe.
Definitely
Like
will be interesting.
I don't like that.
That's what something else. Yeah, right. I don't like the shot. It's OTAs, you gotta hit somebody. Like I'm just saying,
you gotta start off something. Like, come on now.
But let me say something. I just being a football, playing football throughout my years, right? I just really like the idea. I love when games end on a defensive stand. So I just love the idea of a defense being able to go out there and be like, all right, y'all, our offense did their job. Now we gotta go make a stop. And they can really go win that game. And it can end like the Super Bowl did, where Aaron Donald got the big play at the end of the game and then said, give me my ring. You know what I'm saying? I love those moments. And I feel like this is giving us an opportunity to get that moment. Because let's just say it's like, okay, team lost the coin toss. They take the ball. Now that team goes down there and scores. Now their defense can be like, all right, game not over. We have to do something now. Now the whole team has contributed to this win. And I love that.
I would like to say I agree with this. And this is the reason I like the new OT rules. Because if you really think about it, if we really boil this down and we pick through it, it literally is showing and going to prove defense wins championships. Because this is what it boils down to. It's going to boil down to which defense can stop the other offense. Because as we just stated, if they keep scoring, they keep playing. So now it literally boils down to which defense is going to step up and make a play. Point blank, period. That's what I mean. Obviously, there's some caveats in there, like well, maybe your offense folds or makes a bad play, makes a mistake, whatever. But if you've gotten to that point in the game where it's overtime, it's like you know. So it's going to really show defense is what really wins championships. And I like the rule for that reason alone. It's just like, yeah, okay, they scored. Like Beyonce said, now we got to go out and we got to stop them from scoring. Period.
Period.
And that right there is the best defense. I love when that happens. Like those moments, you see people do stuff that you're like, wait, how in the world did they do that? Because they're like, I will do anything to make sure that you don't score. I love it. Absolutely love it. I love the rule. And so I'm a fan. And I'm a fan of how they did it. Like Deontay said, again, perfect medium between the two. So we're going to move into the next topic here. And so I'll segue like this. Overtime, you lose, you get sent packing. You're going home. All right? Because it's only for the playoffs. So, again, you get sent home, you're sent packing. Tyreek Hill, the trade heard around the world, ends up sending Devontae Parker packing. Okay, Devontae Parker has been traded to the New England Patriots, and I want to hear your thoughts about that. I personally believe this was a mistake, man. Keep that dude like Hill, Parker, and Waddle. And Gesicki. Oh man, Deontay, I'll start with you first.
Well, if we remember when I was on here and the Tyreek Hill trade happened, that's what I said. I said, you put Tyreek Hill on the field with Waddle, Devontae Parker. I'm like, oh, we got something going on. Y'all keep saying Gesicki. Yeah. You just put him on there with him. Oh, we got something going on. This I found out about right before I came on here. You guys told me. I didn't know. I watch reality TV. I don't watch ESPN. I didn't know, but now I'm thinking about it. I'm just like, dude, I try to understand why they let him go. And I'm just like, he is hurt a lot. Like, he is hurt a lot. He is hurt a lot. And it's like, I don't know what his contract situation was. So I don't know. I just don't know. I'm just like, maybe they feel like we can go get somebody to do what he does in the draft. And we can focus this thing around Tyreek Hill and Waddle and Gesicki and running the ball. Because let's run the ball. This is the NFL, so you got to run the ball. But in my mind, though, if y'all keep Devontae Parker, y'all traded him in division. Are you stupid? Oh my. Yeah, man, that's a bad move. I'm sorry, Miami. It's a bad move.
All right, Juan, talk to me, man. What are your thoughts?
First off, that Hill trade was not the trade I was heard around the world this year. No.
That's the Abs trade.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
that's the Russell Wilson.
No, it was the Russell Wilson trade. That was the trade.
Nah, because everybody knew for the last 2 years Russ kind of won it out.
But it was the first big trade that set all the other ones in motion.
I get you.
Set off an arms race across the AFC.
The reason I'm going with Hill, though, even over Adams, is because, again, he was a free agent. We didn't know. We already knew that there was some shakiness in the organization when it came to Adams and with Adams and Aaron. Like, I had no clue Tyreek Hill was even on the table. Like, that came out of nowhere.
Well, I will say, first thing,
Miami, let everybody know.
Miami, first off, I respect you having to trade Devontae Parker. I understand why. He was a cap casualty too, because you just signed Xavier Howard to a $55 million deal yesterday. Also, congrats to a top lockdown corner in this league in Xavier Howard. I will be getting your jersey soon, sir. However, did you have to trade him to the Patriots? Did you have to trade him to New England, an AFC East rival? Did you have to do that? I get that you've had New England's number for the past couple of years. But are you that cocky into thinking that if you sent Devontae out there, he wouldn't be a difference maker? Let me tell you, what the Patriots wide receiver depth looks like right now. It is Nelson Aguilar, Ty Montgomery, Matthew Slater, N'Keal Harry, Kendrick Bourne. All of these guys haven't hit 1,000 yards in a season.
I was about to say, you just named some poop.
Exactly.
That's what I was going to say. I'm not worried about none of them.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's a lackluster core. And then trading Devontae Adams, who is a really good wide receiver. Good. Not great because of all the injuries that he's sustained. I mean, in 2019 was his lone year going over 1,000 yards. Last year, just 500. He could boost.
I don't mean to cut you off. But I just want to make sure everybody's clear. You said Adams. You meant Parker. All right,
apologies. My apologies.
Continue.
I'm in Packer land, sir. We're still salty about that. Look, Devontae Parker it's kind of like a double-edged sword. He's a good receiver and can balance out the receiving core in a way that gives Mac Jones a proper weapon, as well as opens up more lanes for guys like Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar, the true slot wideout. Kendrick Bourne, a good outside receiver when there's not as much attention and coverage to him. However, Devontae Parker is injury prone as hell. All right, injury prone as hell. And did you have to send him to New England? Out of all places? All right, I'm done.
All right, Coach, your thoughts.
So let's put it out there now. Miami, you've been having probably one of the best off seasons out of every AFC team, and we know what the AFC has been doing. But you took a massive L on this, like a super L. Like, make sure that joint is capitalized for you. Big bolded letters, L on this one. Do you know that his cap hit for the next 2 years, basically, he would have been getting paid roughly around $6 to $7 million per year. $6 to $7 million per year. They could have afforded him. They clearly could have afforded him. A lot of these contracts that they gave out were backloaded deals when it came to the cap space. So they had enough for at least the next year at the best.
That's petty.
But they had
I don't
enough.
even know what team Crowder plays for.
He's with
Crowder
the
plays
Bills
for
now.
the unfortunate Jets, but it's okay. It's always
Nah, he's with the Bills now, man. He's with the Bills now.
So they
that's how relevant he is. Like,
AFC East, they're gonna lose half their receivers already. We already see what it is. But Devontae Parker to the Pats, that's probably the best move that the Pats made all off season. Probably the best move they're going to make all off season. And it's really because they finally get a number one receiver. If he's healthy, they have, as we say, poop. But that poop as number twos and number threes work very well, especially in a running-based attack, which we see Mac Jones is going to lead next year. If he can stay with that good running game, solid accuracy, Devontae Parker stays healthy for at least 10 games, we can see Mac Jones taking another jump, people, and we've seen him do fairly well as a rookie, better than any other incoming rookie that we've seen this year. So I like it a lot for the Patriots. I hate it for the Miami Dolphins. And I hate this even more in this one, people we all know and love. We love our guy Darius Riddick around here, man, but come on, you're giving him ammunition for the Belichick revenge tour. I'm sick of hearing it. I don't want to hear it when it comes.
That revenge tour has been going on.
This revenge tour is going to never end until he finally wins another one, and that's going to be a long time from now. So, listen,
the worst part is Miami actually got a pretty good return for him, a third-round pick for Devontae Parker. Excuse me, I keep doing that.
Listen, we only love one Devontae. Really, let's be honest. We forgot about Devontae Parker. He's the forgetful person until you see him, and then it's, Devontae Parker, great player. Mm-hmm. But if you don't see him, he's out of sight, out of mind.
All right, I'll let you say what you said.
Mac Jones drops back, and that's a TD to Durant Parker. Patriots close the gap against the Bills. Pats still trail 45-17. The shade is real. The shade is real. It's super real. Super real. Well, I'm not going to hold you guys any longer. I want to just say thank you all for joining on to the Air It Out podcast. It's been a pretty good, interesting podcast. More interesting than I actually expected. You guys are funny. You guys are funny, man. You guys are hilarious. Juan, don't name no more poop like that. That's what you good.
It's Christian Wilkerson, Trey Nixon, Malcolm Perry, and like maybe one more.
Just like name the Falcons receivers. That's some scrubs right there.
I can't pronounce one of your guys' names.
Like, we got some scrubs over there, too, okay?
Listen, I can name more people on your defense than your offense.
Bruh. Terrible. Okay.
More yards than Devontae.
Wow.
I hope so.
Wow.
Depends where he goes.
I will feel truly bad because that means that Devontae Parker is at this point a true joke in the NFL.
I hope so. Listen, we're going to get out of your hair. This is the Air It Out Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on all your social media platforms. That's Instagram, Inside the Hashes, Facebook, Inside the Hashes, Twitter, Inside Hashes, and please, please, please don't forget to check out the website, www.insidethehashes.com. We got gaming, blogs, interviews, podcasts like this. All of that. We are the apex of football. Check out the website and then go to YouTube, right? Once you go to YouTube, type in Inside the Hashes, hit the subscription button, hit the like button, share the videos if you feel like you want to do so, and then turn on the notification button so you can know when we are live. You can get your comments put in here live just like you saw today. But until next time, this is the Air It Out Podcast. My name is Avery. That right there is Coach. Then that over there, there we go. Okay, that's Juan. And then that is Deontay. We're going to see y'all later. Now, before we close out.
No, can we mute? Can we figure out how to mute him?
I just want Matt Ryan.
No.
Why? Matt Ryan's not even on your team anymore, man.
That's all I'm saying. Like, he just got to stop betting the ball. That's it. Like.